Hare Krishna. Can you hear my voice? Am I audible? Is my voice audible? Okay, let's start. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining today's session. We have been discussing from the fifth chapter of the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The chapter is titled as Rishabhadev instructs his sons. So I'll do a quick recap of what we have seen till now. We have covered the first three verses of this chapter. Nayam deho dehabajam riloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbujam ye. Tapo divyam putraka yena satvam shuddhyed yasmat brahma saukyam tvanantam. The first instruction that Sri Rishabhadev gives to his sons is that this body, this human body is not meant for using in ahar and nidra bhaya maitunam cha, which is available even for the animals. So therefore, one should engage it in tapasya, and not just any tapasya, divyam, tapo divyam. The tapasya must be divya tapa, transcendental tapasya, which is devotional service. Why? Tapo divyam putraka yena satvam shuddhyed. Because by such a tapasya, the heart becomes purified. We saw that purification of heart can happen through practice of the gradual path of Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, etc. also. But Yasmad Brahma Saukyam Tvanantam. But by that, one may not get Brahma Saukya. If by Brahma Saukya, one means the bliss of Prema. Okay. The bliss of Prema one cannot get by the gradual process. But if you take Brahma Saukya to mean Sahyajya Mukti, then one can get it through the tapasya which is prescribed in the gradual path. And it's not that in the gradual path there is no tapasya. Actually, there is much more tapasya in the gradual path than on the path of bhakti from a neutral perspective. But of course, depending on one's individual qualification and adhikar, one might find those activities for which one has no adhikar to be very difficult to be a tapasya, and those activities for which one has a qualification, people will think that, oh, it's very easy to do. Okay. So this whole principle of susukam kartum avyayam, that the limbs of bhakti are very easy to perform, is from a neutral perspective. You know, if you observe the activities alone, from a very neutral perspective, the activities of bhakti are uh, seemingly very easy and not so strenuous activities. But those who may not have faith in the path of bhakti may still find it difficult. It's not a subjective opinion. Subjectively things may change, but for a person who is absolutely neutral, who may have no faith either on the gradual path or the bhakti path, by purely observing only the activities of bhakti, if you see, he may find the activities of bhakti to be more easier than the activities of karma, jnana, yoga, etc. So from that perspective, but of course we had discussed this many times. So this all changes with adhikar. So for someone with karma adhikar, because he will lack that faith in bhakti, he will think that, yes, the activities of bhakti may be easy to perform, but I don't think merely by performing the activities of bhakti, I will get the result of my, whatever purushartha I am aspiring for. I cannot get it merely by practicing bhakti. He will not have faith in that. So some activity may be easy to perform. Like if someone says, look, you want to pass the JEE exam, uh, you don't study, just keep playing video games throughout the day. and you will pass the exam. So someone may say, yeah, playing video games is something which gives me a lot of fun. It is a lot of joy. But I don't have faith that if I play video games throughout the day, um, uh, I will get through the JEE exam. Okay. So it's not that they will find the activities of bhakti itself difficult, but the point is that they will not have faith in the exclusive activities of bhakti as a viable sadhana to achieve their goal. Uh, that faith they will not have. So therefore, they may feel something is deficient. Okay, something is deficient. I just cannot achieve my goal like this. They will feel. How can I neglect the varnashrama duties and think that I can achieve the same goal? It's impossible, because they will not have faith. It is like asking a person that, okay, just play video games and you will pass the JEE exam. Okay, they will not believe, it's not possible. How is it possible? So even though the activities of bhakti are actually much less strenuous, it's easy to perform. It's easy to perform. But when the faith is not there, you cannot consider it as a viable sadhana. Okay, that's the point. So therefore he says, Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyed yasmat brahma saukyam tu anantam. So this indicates Tapo divyam can mean a transcendental tapasya, which can lead you to that transcendental goal, which can mean the gradual path of Sakama Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and then liberation like that. Or it can also refer to the path of Bhakti. Okay. So now, how do you become qualified to perform this tapasya? He says, Mahat Sevam Dwara Mahor Vimukte Stamodwaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam Mahantaste Samachitta Prashanta Vimanyavas Surdas Sadavoye. So he describes about, he says that you can get the qualification by serving the Mahats. Okay. Mahat Sevam Daram Ahor Vimuktes. Your door for liberation opens by service to Mahats. Tamodwaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. And by Yoshit Sangha, or by Yoshitam Sangi Sangha, by the association of those who are womanizers, your door to hell opens. And in this context, we were discussing how the association of womanizers is more detrimental than association of women, because association with womanizers takes away your guilt and actually whitewashes your value system. Okay. So it says that, oh, it's all right. It whitewashes, it kicks out that guilt and whitewashes that. It says that, oh, it's all right. It's the vogue, man. It is the latest this thing. Everyone does it. So the natural human tendency is, see, if one or two more people do it, the natural human tendency is to think everyone does it. And if everyone does it, then it must be the right thing to do. So this is how human mind, tricks the intelligence. If one or two more people do, the mind will generalize by telling that, oh, everyone does it. And if everyone does, it must be the right thing to do. Okay. So then that way mind will convince the intelligence. So when the intelligence accepts that it is to do this is within the proper value system, then the guilt is not there. So therefore, Yoshitam Sangi Sangam is more dangerous than Yoshit Sangha. And similarly, Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya, more than Bhagavat Sangha, Bhagavat Sangi Sangha is much more powerful. And who are these Mahantas? Mahantaste Samachittaha Prashanta. So this talks about both kinds of Mahants. Mahantaste. So these Mahantas, they may be an impersonalist or a devotee. So in this context, we were discussing yesterday. An impersonalist here does not refer to Mayavadis. Impersonalist here refers to the Brahmavadis, or the proper practitioners of the gradual path. and they worship the personal form of the Lord, but as an aspiration or an end goal, they may aspire for impersonal liberation. Okay. So those Mahantas are Samachittaha, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavihastini, Shuni Cheva Shvapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina, that kind of Samachittaha. And Prashanta, they are very peaceful. But on the other hand, the devotees are, they are also Samachittaha, which means they have a sincere heart. A sincere heart here means an empathetic heart. And Prashanta means they have their intelligence fixed in Krishna. And both of them are Vimanyava Suhrida Sadavoye. They both are devoid of anger, they are friendly to all, and they do not see faults in others. Okay. So this is what we saw about how to get qualified to follow these two types of um, tapodivyam, the qualification to follow these two types of divyam tapaha by these attachment to these two types of mahats. And then Rishabhadev says, Yeva mayishe krita sauhridartha janeshu deham baravartikeshu griheshu jaya atmajarati matsu na priti yukta yavadartas chaloke. So he says, the devotees who have made their goal of life affection for me, maya krita sauhrida artha. Artha means goal. The goal of their life is maya krita sauhrida. I somehow want to establish a loving relationship with Krishna. This is the goal of my life. So those who have fixed this as the goal of their lives, so he's telling, okay, of the two mahats, one of the mahats, the devotee mahats, are the ones who have fixed as the goal of their life uh, that the goal as to establish a relationship with Krishna, loving relationship with Krishna. Okay, and such people, na priti yukta dehambara vartikeshu janeshu. Okay, and such people do not enjoy. They do not show affection for persons who are attached to materialistic things. So in this context, we were having discussion yesterday. They do not show affection means they do not feel that sense of sauharda. Sauharda means a sense of friendship, a sense of affectionate friendship, uh, and an eagerness to have an emotional fulfillment through the association with such people. They don't have sauharda. But lacking affection does not mean they hate these people. They may have compassion. Okay. They may have compassion towards these people. Okay. Ishvare tadadineshu balisheshu dushastu cha prema maitri kripa upeksha yakkaroti samadhyama. Okay. So they have compassion. Okay. And while having indifference to what they are indulging in. Okay. Dehambara vartikeshu griheshu jaya atmaja ratimatsu. Okay. So they may not have interest in those activities, but they may have compassion to those people who are engrossed in those activities. Okay. So na priti yukta does not mean that they don't have any affection, so therefore they hate those people, or maybe they don't even want to show compassion. It's not like that. Yavadartas chaloke, they remain in their houses simply to spend their money on glorifying the Lord. To spend their money on glorifying the Lord. So, whatever they get, they want to utilize it in glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, they don't want to do anything else. So, this is where we ended our discussion yesterday. So, we will cover little more today. As I told, uh, you know, there is Chaupati Bhagavatam class today, so I will have to attend. So just today we will end it early and by 8:15, and then from Monday onwards, I can't say Monday onwards because Monday I will take most likely. Tuesday I will be traveling back to Chennai, so Tuesday we will not have the morning Bhagavatam class. But Wednesday onwards for sure. Monday and then Wednesday we will have full Bhagavatam class till 9 till 8:45. But today also we'll have to end it early. Okay. So then he continues. Nonam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya aprinoti na sadhu manye yata atmanoyam asan api kleshada asadeha. Ayam pramattaha atmanaha, the inattentive jiva, indriya pritaya aprinoti, he becomes absorbed in actions for the pleasure of the senses. Nonam kurute vikarma, and thus engages in sinful activities. So inattentive jiva here means, so inattention which is caused due to lack of faith. Inattention caused due to lack of faith and interest. So inattentive jiva here means that. So he is inattentive to the activities of bhakti. Why he is inattentive to activities of bhakti? Because he does not have that shraddha. Because he does not have that shraddha which is born out of sukriti. Ayam pramattaha atmanaha indriya pritaya apranoti. Okay, and therefore he becomes absorbed in actions for the pleasure of the senses, and therefore he engages in sin. Nonam kurute vikarma. Yata. And because of these activities, dehaha, he receives another body. And what is the nature of that body? Kleshada. It gives only suffering. Asad api. And even though asad api kleshada asad dehaha. Even though uh, it is the body does not belong to the jiva. Okay. Even though the body does not belong to the jiva, but it gives great suffering for the jiva who has great possessiveness for that body. So asannapi kleshada asa dehaha. So even though the body does not belong to the self, but it gives great suffering to the self. So nunam pramattah kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya apranoti. So Rishabhdev says, na sadhu manye. I do not think such actions are proper. I do not think such actions are proper. So this Rishabhdev is primarily instructing to his sons who are either Brahmanas who have to guide the society or Kshatriyas who also have to guide the society. So what he is telling is, na sadhu manye. I don't think this is the right way uh, to live the life. Nunam pramattah kurute vikarma. So what it means is that, therefore, oh my dear sons who may act as leaders of the society, either in the form of Brahmanas or Kshatriyas, therefore it is your responsibility to instill faith in the heart of the living entities to take up to the path of bhakti. That's what it means. It does not mean force them to perform bhakti, because bhakti does not, you cannot force people to do bhakti, because you know if they do it by force, then nothing will happen. They will not. It's not bhakti only. Any activity when performed without faith but only out of force is ashraddaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asaditi uchyate partha nachatat pretyanoiha. That which is done without faith, whether it may be a sacrifice or charity or anything of that sort, without faith, if it is done, it is as good as not doing that activity. Uh, it will not give any result either in this life or next life. So therefore, it is of no use. So here he says, Na sadhu manye, I do not consider such actions proper, which means, therefore, my dear sons, please do whatever is necessary to stimulate that faith in the heart of the people who are under your shelter. To stimulate um, faith in the people who are under your shelter. Otherwise, pramattaha, they will be inattentive to the activities of bhakti because of that lack of faith, and they will become absorbed in sense gratification, and by which they will keep on receiving another body which will give them suffering, even though the body has nothing to do with uh, the jiva at all. Even though the body has nothing to do with the jiva at all. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti says, he already stated that those persons who are attached to women, they fall down. Hmm. Uh, Tamodwaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. He illustrates this and laments for those persons. When a person acts for sense pleasure, he engages himself in sinful activities like enjoying others' wives. Because of previous sins, one attains the present body which gives suffering. With this body, one again performs sinful acts. He says that, Rishabdev says, I do not consider this proper. This body does not actually belong to the jiva. Asannapi kleshada asadeha. The Shruti says, Asango hi ayam purushaha. The jiva is not associated with the material body. Okay, so therefore he should not be doing this. Uh, So that's what he says here. So he says, hmm, न साधु मन्ये यत आत्मनोयम असन अपि क्लेशद आसदेह atmanah asadapi. Even though the body does not belong to the jiva at all, okay, but still because of his identification with the body, he suffers. And then he continues. Parabhavastavad jato yavanna jignasata atmatattvam yavat kriyastavad mano vai karmatmakam yena sharira bandha yavad na jignasata atmatattvam. As long as the jiva does not inquire about the atma, yavad na jignasata atmatattvam, tavat parabhavah. Till that time, he will remain in bondage, abodha jatah, which is created by ignorance. Parabhavas tavad abodha jato yavanna jignasata atmatattvam. As long as the jiva does not inquire about the atma, he remains in bondage created by ignorance. So he should start inquiring about the Atma. So when he will start inquiring about the Atma, when he has faith in that inquiry, how he will get that faith? Mahat sevam dwara mahor vimuktes. Only by serving the Mahats. So Satam Kripa, Mahat Seva, Ajnata Sukriti, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Ananta Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. So for that Shraddha, so that inquiry, for them to make that inquiry, they have to have faith in that inquiry. Faith in inquiring about the soul, faith in inquiring about Krishna, that faith comes by Shraddha. So that faith comes by Sukriti. And that Sukriti comes when they get an opportunity to serve uh, the great souls, and they will get a desire to serve the great souls when the great souls show some mercy and compassion towards them and engage them in a likable way, in an activity connected to Krishna. So that way, slowly, slowly, they will get some Sukriti. Okay. So that's the point. Parabhavastavad abodha jato yavanna jigyasata atmatattvam. Until they start inquiring about Atma or some transcendental subject matter here, tavad parabhavaha. Hmm. Till that time, he will remain in bondage. He will be defeated. Parabhava means defeat. Till then there will be defeat, which is created by ignorance. Okay. It has reached 100. Let me just share this thing. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So, and then he says, Yavat kriyaha, as long as one performs pious or sinful actions, tavat, till that time, idam manovai karmatmakam, the mind remains absorbed in action. Yavat kriyas tavad idam manovai karmatmakam, yena sharira bandha. By this, the bondage to repeated bodies continues. So, in the previous verse, he said, Nunam pramattaha kurute vikarma, yadindriya pritaya apranoti. Being inattentive, he performs sinful activities by engaging in activities of sense gratification. Uh, uh, then asannapi kleshada asadeha. Then he gets a body, and this samsara chakra continues. So he says, okay, if the problem is sinful activities, then we will do pious activities. Then we will do pious activities. Okay. So that we can escape. So one may say like that. So he says, Yavat kriyas, as long as you engage in any kriya means falahetu kriya, activities performed desiring some fruits, whether they are sinful or um, pious activities. Yavat kriyas tavad idam manovai karmatmakam. As long as anyone performs pious or sinful activities, tavad, till that time, idam manovai karmatmakam, the mind will always be absorbed in performing action. Yena sharira bandha, and by that absorption of the mind in performing actions within this material world, there will be bondage to this material world. So therefore, mere pious activities is not a solution. Parabhavas tavad abodha jato yavanna jigyasata atmatattvam. There has to be an inspiration to inquire into the higher realms, into the transcendental reality. As long as one does not get faith in that, and as long as one is stuck with the pious and impious karma, yavat kriya tavad idam manovai karmatmakam. As long as they are attached to kriya, whether pious or impious, tavad idam manovai karmatmakam. Till then, the mind will become absorbed in karma, in actions, yena sharira bandha, and by that there will be bondage to this material world. Okay. The repeated bodies will continue, the samsara will continue. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti mentions here, okay, if the problem is sinful acts, then one should perform pious acts. So, he says, since pious acts are also a cause of samsara and thus cause suffering, one should engage in jnana, which destroys sin and piety. Yavanna jigyasata atmatattvam. Dependence on karma or bondage of the jiva is produced from ignorance. Parabhava. Parabhavastavad jato. Parabhava also means defeat. Defeat of the jiva. What is defeat of the jiva? When the jiva is unable to act according to its constitutional position, that is defeat of the jiva. Parabhavastavad jato. That defeat is caused by ignorance. Yavanna jigyasata atmatattvam. That ignorance and defeat continues till he starts inquiring about transcendental reality. So this remains as long as one does not inquire about the Atma. Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. O Arjuna, the fire of knowledge burns all karmas to ashes. As long as knowledge does not arise, karmas are not destroyed. As long as pious and sinful acts remain, the mind will remain absorbed in action. Because of the mind absorbed in actions, bondage to bodies will continue. Parabhavastava dabodhajato yavanna jigyasata atmatattvam tavat yavat kriya tavadidam manovai karmatmakam yena sharira bandha. Okay, like that. Then we will cover one more verse and then we will pause for some discussion. He says, Evam mana karma vasham prayunkte avidyayatmanyupadiyamane pritirnayavan mayi vasudeve na muchyate deha yoge na tavat. Evam manah karma vasham. In this way, the mind will always be attached under the influence of action. It will be fixed or it will be absorbed in action. Evam manah karma vasham prayunte. So in this way, as long as there is attachment to pious and sinful activities, the mind will be absorbed in action. Evam manah karma vasham prayunte. Atmani prayunte. Sorry. Since the jiva is engaged in action, avidyaya, by ignorance, upadiyamane, having accepted a subtle body. In this way, the jiva having attained a subtle body, his actions will continue in this material world. Yavad na pritir mai Vasudeve. As long as he does not have devotion for me, Vasudev, tavad na muchyate deha yogena. He will not liberate from the body. Pritirna yavad mai Vasudeve, na muchyate deha yogena tavat. So therefore, in the previous verse, he said that parabhavastavad jato yavanna jigyasata atmatattvam. Until he starts inquiring about transcendental reality, there is no question of escaping bondage. But then the question is, oh, does inquiry into transcendence alone can it help him escape the bondage of this material world? He says, no. Pritirna yavad mai vasudeve. Namuchyate deha yogena tavad. But don't think that just by uh, Atma Jigyasa, you can attain liberation. That Atma Jigyasa must be accompanied by Vasudeva Priti. Pritirna yavad mai Vasudeve. Na muchyate deha yogena tavad. One will not escape the bondage until one develops bhakti. So here, if you take mukti to mean Sayujya Mukti, then that bhakti can be a secondary element in that practice. Okay. In the gradual path, the path of Guni Bhuta Bhakti, that bhakti is a secondary element. Okay. So bhakti as a secondary element is fine, but that is needed. Without bhakti to Vasudev, at least as a secondary element, even Sayujya Mukti is not possible. But if by that Mukti you mean Vaikunta, Salokya Mukti, then that bhakti has to be a predominant element, Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. But if by Mukti you mean Prema, then that bhakti should be Shuddha Bhakti. Okay, like that. But any type of Mukti, you need that bhakti at least as a secondary element. Pritirna yavad mai Vasudeve, na muchyate deha yogena tavad. So that Atma Jigyasa in itself is not sufficient for Mukti. Okay. It in itself is not sufficient for mukti. That's what he's telling. In fact, that Atma Jigyasa need not come first also. The Atma Jigyasa need not come first also. Bhakti may come first. Atma Jigyasa can come later also. Is there anyone in the august assembly of these devotees who came to Bhakti, but later only, started thinking about, okay, maybe this material world is not a very good place. maybe mukti is the goal. Uh, uh, I mean, how many of you first came to bhakti, got attracted to devotees, uh, took up chanting, and later only started thinking about, oh, actually, this material world is not a good place. Maybe we should escape it. Is there anyone in this assembly who fell in that category? That you um, yeah, right. Many of us, I also fall in that category only. It's not that I was, uh, not that I was like really already okay. This material world is not a good place like that. No, I came in touch with devotees, liked them, and later, much later, I got somewhat attracted to the Siddhanta. And then I started thinking, okay, yeah, probably this material world is not a very good place. Maybe we should live like that. It came much later, right? So, I mean, it's not stereotype. For some people, it may be one way. For some people, it may be the other way also. So how does the mind become absorbed in action? He says, ancient or recent karmas make the mind fixed in action. So here, recent karmas here refers to karma vasanas. Okay. Impressions of, performing particular actions and enjoying particular fruits. In this way, the mind becomes absorbed in action. One becomes absorbed in that object upon which one depends. Evam mana karma vasham prayunkte avidyayatman upadiyamane. Hmm. However, the actions of the liberated soul are excluded from this analysis. Okay, we are not talking about liberated souls. We are talking uh, mm, about conditioned souls. While the jiva is engaged by ignorance with a covering of the subtle body, he will remain with the material body as long as bhakti, which uproots all karma, does not appear. Pritir nayavad mai vasudeve na muchyate deha yogena tavad. Okay, like that. Okay, we will pause here and see if there are any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share, ask, add. Um, okay. Both carrot and stick are treated as force. Well, yeah, you can use the carrot. Uh, okay, better you verbalize your question, Prabhu, so that it becomes little more clear. Uh, yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, you were mentioning that you cannot bring someone to bhakti by force.
Yeah.
So, carrot is obviously a force that you are forcing someone to do something that they don't like to do.
Uh-huh.
But when I offer the attractions of bhakti, you will gain this, you will gain that, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever material objectives they have in their mind, if
Mm-hmm.
that can be dovetailed with bhakti, saying that okay, through bhakti you can attain them in a greater degree and more in a more abiding, lasting way, you will achieve the desires of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Then we bring them to bhakti, even though bhakti per se is not attractive to them, but because bhakti will yield the desires of their heart,
Mm-hmm.
they may start doing bhakti. Can't exactly say they enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that acceptable?
Okay. So now, uh, I will not give a simple answer to this. The simple answer is yes, it is acceptable. But I will explain why it is acceptable. Okay. It is acceptable even though we don't want them to perform bhakti for fulfilling their material desires. But that is a very good way of encouraging them to come to the temple, take darshan of the deities, and most importantly, maybe associate with other devotees, maybe befriend some devotees, and slowly have a transformation of heart. So that gives them that opportunity. So, and you are not lying. Yes, bhakti can fulfill all those desires. Akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradihi. Tivrena bhakti yogene jeta purusham param. So, bhakti can fulfill those desires. So you can use that. But our mentality is what? Yes, bhakti, at least for this, if they come to Krishna, they will get an opportunity to take darshan of the deities. They will get an opportunity to associate with devotees. And by that, they may have a transformation of heart. So with that purpose, you say this, it is perfectly fine. I don't think there is any problem with this.
So then it will not come under the category of a kind of a psychological forcing. No, no, it's not like that.
No, they are looking for a solution. You are giving them a solution. It's not a psychological force.
Yeah.
And it's not that you are misguiding them.
Mm,
I mean, even if they take up to bhakti exclusively for fulfilling their material desires also, it
mm,
is still a gain only.
mm,
It is still a
mm.
gain. Even if they don't come to the practice of pure devotional service, at least to uh, to remain a sakama bhakta is better than not remaining a bhakta.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that also,
Mm,
and that inspiration also, when you give, they must have some sukriti to even accept that proposal. Otherwise, they will not accept. It's not just by that you are prodding them in that direction
mm,
is just the last straw that broke the camel's back.
mm, mm.
It's not that you prodded and they accepted does not mean your prodding did the job. They
Mm.
already have some sukriti. Your prodding was the last bit of uh, push that they needed to take up to bhakti. Because
And
you can try the same pushing with three
mm,
people, four people, you will see
mm.
that not all four will consider your
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
thing. They will
Yeah.
say, Prabhu, rather than praying, I would like to do my own endeavor. No thanks. That might be the answer for some people.
Mm,
Or someone else may say, oh, yes, thank you very much for reminding. Actually, I have lot of faith in Ganapati, you know, so I will
mm.
do that. So you will find all kinds of people. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, uh, so therefore, even that push, you are just what we are trying to do is push them and see maybe if they already have that threshold of sukriti, maybe they will take up. That's what we are trying. We are just, you know, trying our best. Okay, maybe he is a person who has some sukriti. So maybe if I push. So therefore, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna. Artho jigyasur artharthi gyani chabartar shabha. Of these four people, if they already have some sukriti, then when you push them, at least you are pushing them into the category of bhajante mam.
Mm,
But if
mm.
they don't have that sukriti, your prodding may not have immediate effect.
Yeah.
Your
Like typically, materialistic people want results quickly. So
yeah,
if it doesn't come, they may lose all faith and go away also.
yeah. But the point is, we don't have
Mm,
to fear that. We
mm,
don't have to fear that because nothing will happen against the will of Krishna.
mm,
We are just trying our best. You see them desperate, you give them this solution, and uh, and hope and pray that it works.
mm, mm.
And hope and pray that it works. And we have done our part. Okay, we
Yeah.
have done our part. So rest, Krishna will take care. At least
Mm,
they will know. At least one good thing will happen is that when the whole world was running in their own ways, not bothering about my suffering, this one person bothered to stop and offer me a solution. That
mm.
much he will appreciate you, and that appreciation will at least give him some sukriti. That is good enough.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Another thought I had, you were asking, no, how did we come to Krishna consciousness? So in my case, I was literally, desperately looking for a solution from the cycle of birth and death without knowing ISKCON.
Yeah.
I was so desperate and I had tried so many different things. I believed in moksha, I believed in the soul, but I had no idea that there is transcendence and there is spiritual world. I had absolutely no clue to that.
Yeah.
So somehow I came through Back to Godhead. Somehow the magazines had such an attraction for me.
Mm.
Just reading them, I slowly connected to ISKCON, and so I think I was in that sense I was a Muktikami, but somehow by the mercy of devotees I have come to ISKCON. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, there are some things in the chat box. Let's take them. How many times we should try so that it will not come under the category of offense of telling a faithless person about bhakti? Okay, so now once you tell and you realize that the person does not have faith in bhakti, then we should only give that thing for which he will be able to accept without any offenses. Okay, that we have to observe. Okay. Okay, let us. Okay, Keshav Priya Mataji.
Reshna Prabhuji, Dhanraj Prabhuji. I have my question, but in continuation with the present discussion, Prabhuji, I
Yeah.
remember we discussing in some other session, Prabhuji, when I asked you something, like people leaving bhakti in the middle when we bring them inside, and just like Prabhu asked now, we say, okay, your problem will be maybe solved if you do bhakti. And if that is not solving and that person leaves, I remember you telling that we may be responsible also, Prabhuji, but today it's a quite different answer. I want to know completely.
I don't remember. The context may be slightly different. I
Hmm.
don't think it's exactly the same.
Hmm.
I think the context would have been if, because of some of our actions, if they leave bhakti,
Hmm.
uh, are
It's
we
a false
responsible?
hope, na Prabhuji. Like it is always
Oh,
a danger. What Prabhuji said, I also have felt because always danger, na Prabhuji. Because Krishna never interferes in karma. Absolutely, I mean, unless it is very much needed, na Prabhuji. Even for devotees, he takes care, but that actions continue with us also. So
yeah. See,
someone.
again, in
Hmm.
our case, we have to
Hmm.
see what was our intention in doing what we were doing. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we can call him and he says, you try doing this sincerely.
Hmm.
Okay. There will be reciprocation. And then you do your sincere prayer also, Krishna, please do something. Okay. He has
Hmm.
come to
Hmm.
you now, and
Hmm.
please do some magic so that he can come closer. So that much we can do. Like, we
Hmm.
know that Krishna is independent and he will not interfere, but he can respond to prayers of devotees.
Hmm.
So if the devotees pray that Krishna, please do something, okay, let him come closer. So it may not be the answering of that prayer. Krishna may not answer that prayer,
Hmm.
but still that person may feel that warmth in that devotee who might have told him, because
Hmm.
he will feel that, "Arey, at least there is one person who is interested in my problem
Hmm.
and he is
Hmm.
not expecting any money in return."
Hmm.
Okay, which means he's genuinely concerned.
Hmm.
So Krishna may not work out for him. Arey,
Hmm.
this whole prayer did not work. But
Hmm.
nevertheless, the person who took some interest in him, he may he may appreciate him. Worst
Hmm.
case, at least he will get some sukriti for appreciating that person who took some
Yes, yes.
time out for him. That's all.
And for leaving, Dushkriti will not come, Prabhuji.
He
Some
never came
reason.
in. Where is the question of leaving?
Ah. And Prabhuji, my question is, you asked the question, Prabhuji. Like most of us, we get attracted to devotees, and then later only we get to know that material world is uh, not a
Both
good
kinds
place
of
to live in.
people will be there because Krishna does say Chaturvida bhajante mam jana
Hmm.
sukriti no Arjuna.
No, no. My
So
question is, Prabhuji, maybe the fact that you're attracted devotees itself, like devotees are so kind, selfless, they are so genuine. That is the fact you're attracted devotees, na Prabhuji.
yeah,
So that itself comes from your experience of material world, where we see people so selfish, arrogant, who are not like they're not. I mean, they are quite arrogant, and all those are saying that. The fact that you're attracted to devotees itself, it means they're different, na Prabhuji. They are so kind, merciful. That itself, you must be having some distasteful material experience, na Prabhuji.
Well,
It
not
comes from that.
not necessarily for everyone.
Mm.
They may not even see this devotee as any different. Oh, here is another good friend. They can think like that also. Amongst many of my good friends, here is another good friend.
Okay.
Like that also they may think. So it's not necessary that they will necessarily be frustrated and they are looking for some alternative experiences. Many people may fall within that category, but not all necessarily.
And okay, Prabhuji, if you're taking that, but as you go deep in, when you get attracted to devotee, you join and you study, na Prabhuji. And whatever you read about material world from the Acharya's words, and you feel it for you to understand it is right, you should have some experience, na Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it
See,
is like
there
blind
are
following, right? If Prabhupada
there
writes there is
that does
no
not.
true love here, that means you should be having some. Yes, right. Because it's my experience. I'm telling Prabhuji, whatever Prabhupada writes in Bhagavatam, every word I felt it's right, right, right. That is why I came inside Prabhuji. I felt absolutely Prabhupada is right because I had
No,
some experience in
for
material
that
world.
you already developed that faith, and then when with that faith, when you saw uh, the words, then they were very. Otherwise, you show the same words to anyone else, they will not agree.
But the fact everyone is agreeing, na Prabhuji, we are going to
No, they
preaching
will
and
not
all, na
agree.
Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji,
No,
general public,
absolutely
we,
not. Not every. Do you
Prabhuji,
know?
like,
Just do you know how many people raise objections to many statements which Prabhupada makes in his purports?
I don't know that, Prabhuji, but my experience,
Unlimited, unlimited,
hmm,
unlimited. The very fact, see, these are not, see, these are absolute truths,
hmm,
um, but uh, but you cannot take out the subjective reality.
hmm,
Uh, Narakastopi deham vai puman na tyaktum ichchati.
hmm,
Kapila Dev says. Even in Naraka, the people suffering hellish troubles, they are not convinced that the suffering is good enough for me to give up my body.
hmm, hmm.
So if that is the situation in Naraka, then the Bhuloka is million trillion times more peaceful and comfortable. So um, so not everyone may, they may agree, or they may say, because you seem to be a little bit respectable, they may just nod their head. Ah, yes, 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 yes. But okay, if it is so distressful, na, are you willing to give up? You ask them, no one will say yes.
So that even I am not ready in this stage,
I know
Prabhuji.
that.
Whether giving it up, I am not talking, Prabhuji. But when it's my experience, I am telling when we say whatever Prabhupada is told about material world to general people, whether they're taking it to bhakti or not, but they somehow it looks like they are agreeing with what Prabhupada says, Prabhuji. That is what I'm
Yeah,
my experience.
yeah. To
They're just
certain very obvious
agreeing.
things,
Mm,
they may agree.
yeah.
Uh, but you tell them that it is not worthwhile,
Mm.
that they will not agree.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I couldn't understand this.
You tell
Okay.
them because there
Mm.
is trouble, it does not, you don't need a rocket scientist to say that there is trouble in this material world. Everyone knows that. The
Yes,
problem
Prabhuji.
is, yeah, you know, that's what I'm telling. But the problem is that these statements will make sense only if there is a faith in an alternative reality.
Oh.
Otherwise, if whatever is available, people are okay with it. The very fact that people are willing to stay in this material world and don't want to give up their body, it does not mean that they are not aware of the problems of this material world. That they know, but there
But
has to
they're
be an
not aware of the
alternative.
solution, Prabhuji. Here we are,
For
they're
that,
not.
you need
Mm,
faith. For that, you need
mm,
faith. Just because they accept, Prabhupada says
mm,
that this material world is a miserable place. Yes, yes, yes,
mm.
yes. Does not mean they have faith in Prabhupada's words. That they know. But when they say there is something like Vaikunta, are you willing to give this up and come there? That they will say no.
Take time,
So
Prabhuji.
it will take time and development of faith to accept
Oh.
certain statements which are obviously visible. When Prabhupada also
Mm.
says that, okay, if um,
Mm.
if Newton says that an apple will fall down from the tree, it will not go
Mm.
up. Okay. So
Mm.
if I say yes, 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 I believe it, does not mean I'm a follower of Newton. Okay. He is
Mm.
presenting
Mm.
something which is obviously visible to everyone.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. So that does not mean that if Newton started a religion, I will be a part of that Newton's religion. That does not mean that. So the
Mm.
point is that see what certain things Prabhupada is stating about the material world, everyone more or less agree. But
Mm.
beyond that, when you stretch the conclusions, that so therefore it is not worth living in this material world, that people will not agree.
Mm.
So those things you need um, you
Faith.
need more faith in that.
Okay.
So yeah,
Thank you, Prajari.
Pavan Gaurang Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavatana, Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
Dandavat.
in your previous slide, there is one recent activity, something you mentioned, that is karma vasanas.
Yeah.
So of that, I just remembered that in the first chapter of our discussion, five, one, I think 535 or 36, where you are Jahati Bandham, like when somebody chants holy name, even that will one able to give up that. In that sense, you mentioned three ways. That is, one is karma vasanas, and the second one is that prarabdha, aprarabdha, and somebody he doesn't like he is. Not given up all these two, but still he has gaining some sukriti. In the three category you explained, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So these karma vasanas, this prarabdha, aprarabdha, the sukriti will come multiple times in Bhagavatam where the karma bondage, everything will get explained. So how on what basis like you are you are saying this, Prabhu, this is in terms of this is the karma vasana, this related to the prarabdha, aprarabdha. It one sense it comes giving of sukriti to gain that faith on the devotion of the Supreme Lord. I mean, is there any references that are like how we will understand this concept, Prabhu?
Yeah, you should have the overall Siddhantic understanding based on. So you see especially from books like Bhagavad Gita or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the generic Siddhanta is described. So you understand from that. And when you understand from there, then when you see some repetition of the word karma here, there, and what it explains, when you know the overall uh, Siddhanta, then you will understand, oh, here it refers to karma vasanas. So, like for example, what we were discussing today, here he says that, for example, I will share the screen. Just give me a second. We will have to end with this question because it's time I have to leave. You see here, he says, ah, okay.
Same sloka, Prabhu.
Yeah,
Same
yeah, yeah.
sloka.
Wait. Is it here? As long as knowledge does not arise, karmas are not destroyed. Okay, not this.
Not this.
This one. How does the mind become absorbed in action? Okay. How does the mind become absorbed in action? Okay. So here he says, ancient or recent karmas make the mind fixed in action. Okay. So now, what does the Bhagavad Gita or Bhakti Rasam Sundar teach about action? Action is inspired by what? Hmm?
Earlier impression or some desire.
Yeah, desire, right? And desire is inspired by what?
desire is inspired, like might be his liking in the way
Yeah, but
particular way
how
is
did he develop?
possible.
How do you know that I like something or not like something?
That he might have tasted previously. That
That is what
thing
it
is
means. So here it means whenever you are talking about uh, something inspiring action, that action is inspired by vasanas only. Okay,
okay.
because karma, prarabdha or aprarabdha karma only gives the currency. That is the currency for performing what you want. But prarabdha karma will not inspire you to act in a particular way. Prarabdha karma, when you want to act in a particular way, if the prarabdha karma will say whether you have the currency to purchase it or not.
Okay.
So the inspiration for action comes from karma vasana. And your currency to purchase what you like, what you like to get, that comes from uh, karma phala in the form of prarabdha karma. So that is the difference.
Is there any reference in terms of the sloka Prabhu like this, like the karma vasanas, prarabdha, prarabdha? I do remember that in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu we have that sin and that prarabdha,
Yeah,
prarabdha
yeah,
skill.
yeah.
But we have any sloka format of this, giving in like a kind of reference to this?
Well, it is kind of understood. Uh, they don't always, acharyas always use the word karma in multiple ways. Karma can mean action, karma can mean the fruit of the action, karma can mean that which inspires action. So, so depending on the context, you understand what the usage of the word karma.
Okay, bro. Thank you, bro.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we should pause here. We will continue this discussion on Monday. Most likely, we will have discussion. If there is a change, I'll let you know. But Tuesday, definitely, I'll be traveling. We will not have. But Wednesday onwards, we will resume. But I'll keep you posted. So thank you all very much for your patient listening and your enthusiastic participation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. And Radha Pramod Prabhu is traveling. So that's why he's not able to take classes. Today also he'll not be able to take class. Maybe from Monday he will resume. I will talk with him and get back to you. But there is no Prabhupada purport session today.